You want to know how to become a psychologist because maybe you think you want to be one day. Well, today is your lucky day because I'm going to tell you how to become a psychologist. I'm walking you through it step by step. And as you can see, there are a lot of steps, so we should get going. Come on, let's do this. Welcome. I am Dr. Tracy Dickens. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so excited that you clicked on this video, and I love that I'm doing this video. Every place I've worked as a psychologist, I have been involved in the training of students, and I love sharing information about how to become a psychologist because honestly, I didn't have a me when I was deciding to pursue a psychology degree. So I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And I often think, wow, had I known, would I have made the same choice? And I think so, because I love being a psychologist, but it's a lot of work to get there. It's definitely doable, but it is a time commitment. Well, let's get started. This information is specific to the United States. As an undergrad, you don't necessarily have to get an undergraduate degree in psychology. A lot of schools do want you to have something in the social sciences, but some schools don't really require it. I personally think it's helpful if you do something in the realm of social sciences, whether that's criminology, sociology, psychology, human relations and resources, but something where you understand human nature, because it really does help you navigate the coursework in graduate school. You're going to be competing with a lot of people that are going to have those classes, and the reviewers are going to be able to see, well, how did they do in those classes? And that leads me to the next thing. Because getting into a PhD program can be very competitive, it's really good if you have some kind of experience. If you know of a psychologist, you can do volunteer work somewhere, just something to give you some hands-on experience to what you think you might want to do in the area of psychology. It's really just helpful for yourself, first of all, and also it just looks really good on an application. The other thing you want to really look into is the graduate records exam, or the GRE. A lot of universities require certain scores in order to apply for their program. Since I was in school many years ago, they have made some adjustments to how they look at the GRE. A lot of schools don't even require them anymore. Some schools still require them, but they may weight it differently than the other information that you supply to them with your application. So you do all of that, you get your experience, you get great scores on the GRE, and you apply and you get accepted. Yay! You're going to grad school. So what does that mean? Wait, hold on, let me rewind. I just said you graduated, but I forgot to tell you what you need to do before you go off to grad school. Because before you get there, you got to decide what kind of grad school you're going to, what's your route to becoming a psychologist, because you've got some choices to make and you need to make them before you start to apply. So you don't waste any time, because it does take a lot of time to get to that end point of psychologist. Some people will do a terminal master's and then they will go into a PhD program. And there are a lot of reasons why people will choose to do a master's and then a PhD, but oftentimes it's for financial reasons or family obligations. People realize that, hey, I can get a master's, I can get licensed, I can practice in the field, and then, pay off my debt, and then save up, and then apply for a PhD program, and won't have all the heavy debt. Where others decide, nope, I'm gonna just push through, I'm gonna go directly into a PhD program and get it done and over with and don't have to look back. If that's the route you're going to take, because everything has to be complex, you get to make another choice. And this choice is based on what type of practitioner you think you want to be. So what do I mean by that? Are you someone who thinks that, I just predominantly want to do therapy. I want to sit in the room with people and listen to them and help them heal and offer them tools to get better. If that's what you think that you're wanting to do is therapy, then a PsyD might be the degree for you. And a PsyD is a doctorate in psychology. And oftentimes those programs are attached to private universities And because they're attached to private universities, they don't offer any help with your tuition. Some do, so you'll have to look into each program and see specifically what that program offers for financial assistance. But generally speaking, they're way more expensive than if you go into a PhD program. And the reason PhD programs aren't as expensive is because oftentimes those programs are attached to a state university, and the state university provides funding for tuition waivers as well as a stipend. Now, that payment isn't for free. Oh no, it's not for free. You're either going to be teaching graduate school classes or you're going to be working in a research lab as a research assistant. So you're going to be doing something to earn that money. But the key point is you're getting a tuition waiver and you're getting a stipend. So it tends to be cheaper to go the PhD route. But here's the thing. When you go the PhD route, generally your degree is going to be science and practitioner. That means that you will be involved in research labs, in the production of research. You will have a dissertation, which is essentially a book. Yes, you're going to be writing a book, a very smart book, a very scholarly book. In PsyD programs, they often involve you writing some type of research paper because whether you're a PhD or PsyD, before you graduate, they want to know that you can think like a doctor, that you can gather information and you can pull it together and present it in a scholarly way. Getting into a program, it is very competitive, especially in PhD programs. They only take a handful of people. In PsyD programs, they can take up to 100 people or so, but in PhD programs, probably your cohort, like specifically for just clinical or counseling psychology, it's probably going to be about 10 to 15 students. Here's the piece I want you to know. Had I known this when I was going into graduate school, I would have saved myself a whole lot of heartache. Because it's so competitive, the fact that you got accepted and you're in means you're good enough to be there. For a lot of people that go into graduate school, they really struggle with imposter phenomenon or imposter syndrome, and that's a whole nother video. But long story short, it's basically believing that you're an imposter and people are gonna figure it out, and when they do, they're gonna reject you and kick you out of the program. But you got in, so you're good enough to be there. The challenge with graduate school is learning how to balance the coursework and starting to practice being a therapist and the research. And you have all these hats as a graduate student and you have to balance them all. And you have your life outside of school. And you're in this constant state of feeling like you're letting something down, like there's some part of your life that you're just not doing as well. And the reality is there is going to be some part of your life that you're not doing as well as you could be because it's just impossible. There's only so much time in the day and we only have a finite amount of energy for that day. So I hope that you're liking this video so far. And if you are, push the like button right now. Come on, push it. So graduate school. Oh my goodness. The other thing I forgot to tell you is you want to make sure that your graduate school is APA accredited. That's the American Psychological Association accreditation. The American Psychological Association, they're the governing body for the education and the practice of psychology. And so they set the standards and the expectations for what we do. And you want your program to subscribe to those standards. Some jobs don't care, but a lot of jobs do. And so if you don't have that APA accreditation, you may be limiting the kind of jobs you can get when you finish your degree. So make sure they're accredited. The next thing is internship. As part of a PhD or PsyD program, you have to do an internship. Usually for clinical or counseling psychology, it's 1 year of training. I did my internship at a federal prison outside of Boston, Massachusetts. And so you get to pick based on what your interests are, where you want to do your internship. And the great thing about an internship is it's an opportunity for you to practice psychology more independently. Like you are seen as someone who is educated. You get a lot more independence and a lot more say about the kind of therapy you want to do. And you have a better sense of, who you are as a therapist. And the other cool thing about an internship is that you get paid. You get paid. You get money. Boom, 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 boom. Now, don't get excited. I mean, it's not a lot of money because when you're an intern, they throw you some coins. But you know what? It's money and take it. I mean, go buy yourself a soda. But at Sonic during happy hour, I mean, it is an intern. You're not making big bucks. Be wise. Okay, be wise. And just like with your PhD program, you want to make sure that it's APA accredited to ensure a breadth of job opportunities when you get done. Yay! It's official. You are a doctor. You have finished graduate school, and that is great. You have done something that only like 1 or 2% of the population does. So good for you. You get a fabulous robe with some nice velvet that you can wear to graduations in the future. And there's more, because you only get to be called a doctor. You don't get to be called a psychologist until you get licensed. What? That's crazy. I know, right? I mean, seriously, I don't get it. Why is that a rule? I know. It sounds crazy. This is why. Most states require that you be licensed in order to practice psychology. The psychologist title is reserved for people that hold a license in psychology. So if you call yourself a psychologist and you're not licensed, you could actually be charged by the state for practicing without a license. So let's talk about what it takes to become licensed. So you're like, okay, so I'll get licensed. Well, pump your brakes. Not just yet. It's not quite that easy. Before you can get licensed, you have to do a postdoc. Yeah, I know. There's more. I know. It just keeps going. Depending on what you specialized in or the kind of work you want to do, you'll have to do 1 to 2 years of a postdoc. And you want to try and get it. What is it? That's right. APA accredited. I know, they're in everything. On your postdoc, now you're a doctor. Essentially, you're practicing as a psychologist. Yeah, you have supervision, but at this point, it's more like consulting than really being supervised. And you do get guidance, but it's more colleague oriented versus I'm the teacher, you're the student. You start to feel a little more confident in who you are as a clinician, and you just start, crushing it in the room with people and really helping people, and it feels great. And you're like, yeah, this is what I've been working toward. This is great. And in your postdoc, you get paid money, usually a little bit more than your internship. So maybe you can get your Sonic outside of happy hour. I mean, I still wouldn't be, going all out. I'm just saying, be wise, be wise. And so then when you're done with your postdoc, you got your hours and all of that. Now you're licensed? Yeah, no, you're not. I'm sorry. I mean, you're close because you got your postdoc. You have to do the EPPP. And EPPP means the examination for the practice of professional psychology. Yeah, it's an exam, and it's a lot because it covers all the areas of psychology, and you have to know a lot of information. You spend a lot of time studying for it. But remember, you got a PhD, you're a doctor, so you're smart. So you're going to nail this. You're going to crush it. Okay? So then when you do that exam and the state jurisprudence exam, because you have to know the laws of the state that you're going to practice psychology, because every state's different. My client tells me that they're going to go kill their neighbor. Some states require that I call that neighbor and let them know. And some states are like, no, confidentiality. You want to make sure you know which state you're in, because if you call, well, all that schooling you just did. So you want to pass the jurisprudence exam. And some states require oral exams. Here you are, though. Here you are. You have done the internship and the postdoc, and you've passed the EPPP, and you've done the jurisprudence exam, and now all you have to do is this. I'm totally kidding. You don't have to do that. Dude, you've done all that stuff. You are done. You are officially a psychologist. Yes, you're official. You're officially a psychologist. You can call yourself a psychologist and not go to jail because you're licensed. Yay! You made it. You finished. And it only took you from undergrad to this point 12 to 15 years, roughly, give or take. But you did it. You stuck with it. You can go out into the world and you can help people heal from their trauma and their depression. And you can send more people into the world so they can thrive and be successful. Way to go.